All right, family, it's your brother Asad, and we are back again with another quick video. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel and on Red and Stacks channel. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, we got to make sure we give a special and a significant and a peculiar and a particular type of shout out to our South African family for all the love that they have shown this channel. Myself, my family, my wife, we greatly appreciate it. Now, bam, that's it. We're just going to jump into this conversation, man. So I guess how is this going to go? Y'all want to introduce yourselves or y'all want us to introduce ourselves to y'all crew?
Well, first we want to say that we're joining y'all from the Changing the Narrative podcast.
Bam.
You can find us on YouTube. I'm Red.
Cease.
Bam. Changing the Narrative.
Shout out
podcast.
to our South African brothers and sisters.
And everything that Asad said, times 10.
Times 10.
Bam,
Bam, bam, bam. Just like
bam.
that.
Bam.
So tell us now why we are here, because we have a particular type of love for SA. So Stacey, you want to tell them how we all met?
Oh man. Yeah, this was in December, right before New Year's. I had saw you on YouTube and you was gonna be in Joburg. So I emailed you and you said, well, when you get here, just holler at me. So it didn't happen. But one night on New Year's Eve, we was walking out the building to go park our car, and you was parking your car on the inside of the building. So I yelled at you. I'm like, yo, I saw your beard. Yeah. I'm like, yo, Asad. And he was like, what's up? I'm like, wow, what a coincidence. Big old ball of dirt. Yeah. And, you know, that's how we met. And we hung out New Year's Eve, brought it in together, and that's it.
Man, yeah. I was like, man, who is this person calling my name? He big old black dude. I need to strap. Where my gun? Who I owe in Johannesburg? I owe nobody.
I'm coming looking.
That's what it was. That's what it was. We went and we hang out that night.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Man, we went to Mamba Name that night.
And was like, guess who I just ran into? I thought he was gonna say like Michael Jordan or like so excited. I'm like, who? He's like Asad. And I'm like,
so underwhelmed. He's like, Asad. Who is he? The little boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I do a lot of my she doesn't know about a lot of the research I do and videos I look at and stuff like that. So it's typically me that's doing a lot of the, you know, looking at other guys in Africa and what they're doing. And then I shared with her. But I was super excited. Like she said, it was like I met Michael Jordan or something. Because, you know, it's like, man, we staying in the same place, this big old ball of dirt. And how did we want each other?
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you a very serendipitous story about us meeting Asha. We were sitting outside that same building, the Vantage, in 2021, February 2021. Yeah. And Asha walks out the building, my wife screaming, Asha! I was like, who is that? I don't even know that woman. Why are you screaming at this old woman, man?
Wow.
Like, who is that?
Right.
Wow.
I know you from YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. I guess Rosebank is the hot spot for Americans, man.
Hey, it is. It is. I think because of the convenience of the mall right there and that Starbucks and stuff like that. You know, we were just talking earlier. You can go hang out at News Cafe. You can get a restaurant and a kind of club vibe all in once, and you can walk a half a block and you're back safely.
Yes.
So yeah, I think Rosebank is that spot. But
and there's 3 liquor stores within walking distance. So that definitely was like.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to them guys. They don't drink, so.
I mean,
that's all right. That's all right.
For all the other Americans.
All other Americans go to Rosebank and get your liquor on.
Another reason.
Yeah, man. I mean, but.
And do you remember when Stacey, when you invited us out or told us where you all were going, You remember when we were like, where is it?
Yeah,
I was. Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I
Are you sure?
I was like, you looked at that on the map?
Right. We were still
Yeah. You like,
Stacey,
are you sure? You say, you sure you want to go there? I'm like, yeah, man, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I didn't realize like Mamba Dang is in that general area. You know, it's not too far from like the Hillbrow and the Yaleville and all that type of stuff. So I didn't realize that, even though it has a whole different vibe once you're there.
Yes.
But I was like, man, I don't know where you going to that's like the equivalent of the fifth wall. You know what I'm saying? That's like going, y'all going, yeah, I'm good on that.
But it was nice though, man.
It was a really
we had a really nice time that night.
It was really, really, really nice. And I was a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie. We were in the Uber, and I was like,
yeah,
right. You drive past some places, you're like,
But it was nice though. We had a great time.
Do you remember the young lady? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, when we pulled up, it was like we were coming out of like kind of like a darker area, like a residential area, and then boom, it's like lights and bars and clubs everywhere.
People moving, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
So it was very loud.
Huh?
So all of those times y'all visited, y'all never been to Montbenet?
No, we had never gone. I mean,
that trip was the first time because we were there during the day. Sandile took us there to show us around during the day. And then so that was the first trip where we had ever gone to Montbenet.
And keep in mind, a lot of the times when we come or have gone, we have children with us, like our babies. So going out is, that was one of the few times that we were able to. Like this time, that just last week, we were able to go out and do a few things. But usually got the kids with you. You can't bring them to the club.
Nah, you're right.
Ours are a little bit older. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking forward to it, to being out in the club. Like we've been parenting for the last 18 whole entire years, and like we're at the point now that we're like ready to celebrate. And we met when I was in my early 20s.
So now you're into ages.
Yeah.
So,
and if I'm not mistaken, it was Blockbuster Video, right?
Yeah.
You watch. You watch.
Yeah.
I'm ready to party. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I hit my party peak at about 25. Well, and I'm from New Orleans, so that's what we do. I had that PhD in partying long before I had this other one. So I mean, I partied out like 9:30 hit. I'd be like, oh Lord, I'm tired. Jeez, can we go lay down?
That's how we are now.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, but when we were at SA, we were like out and about boogieing when we were there.
Yeah.
Seem like you don't get tired, because there's just so much to do and it's so different. And we don't have to worry about too much of anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let's talk about SA. We've been on here chopping it up. So we are both a couple, and as I tell people, there are these couples of Black folk who are pursuing this South African dream. Dr. Bennett, his wife, Brandy and her brother, you guys. There's I forgot the other man's name, Josh and his wife. Yep. It's a lot of folk who are looking at SA. So what is it about SA for you guys that, and well, first tell us how you got introduced to SA. Well, what made you guys choose to go to South Africa?
So, I mean, it's kind of a long story, because initially we were looking at Ghana because they had a great marketing strategy about repatriation.
Yeah.
And so somehow it got to me. I don't know if there's this Facebook group called Africa 2063. And the first time I saw it was on a link that was posted in the page. So I read through it and I'm like, it wasn't until that moment that I realized, like, maybe I've been wrong all this time about people in Africa hating us. You know what I'm saying? Because I always had that in the back of my mind that as American Blacks, like, we were not welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I saw that I'm like, maybe that's not true. And started doing some research. That's when we started looking at other YouTubers that were moving. And, you know, from all of that research, we kind of nailed down, like, we need, my plan is to keep working my US job remotely. Yep. So we needed a place that had good broadband infrastructure with internet, phone connectivity, and all that kind of stuff. And Johannesburg was just like popping up to the top of the list with all of the, you know, the conveniences and the things that you are used to here in the States. And so that's really how we landed there. And we already decided we were going to move before we even visited the first time. We both went into it like, I just hope nothing messed up happens, so we think we need to change our mind. But it was just more of a confirmation trip. Yeah. When we moved the first time. And maybe that was a bad idea to go into it already kind of knowing what you wanted to do. But that's what we did. And we're here now.
Sometimes you just have to let the spirit lead you. And my wife would tell you sometimes I'll drive around Johannesburg with no GPS. I'm gonna let the spirit lead me.
I remember you said that in one of your videos. I remember you said that in one of your videos. I was like, damn, man.
Spirit lead me. You know, but that's good that you guys had it on your mind. And your story is sort of familiar and similar to ours. We were going to go to the year of the return, 2019. That was, you know, we had taken our kids to Morocco. I call that like Diet Africa. You know what I'm saying? Africa light. You know, but we wanted to wait till they were a little older to take them to Africa. So we were going to take them to the year of the return. And we started looking up those prices, the tickets, and the accommodation. The only nice not to say the only, but one of the nicest accommodations was at the Kapinski Hotel. And that was like a 5-star hotel, but it was like $200 or something a night. And and I was like, man, this is ridiculous. They got no
Airbnbs were really expensive at that time.
Well, it was because of that marketing campaign of the year of the return. You had all of the stars going. You had Beyonce mama there. The mayor of New Orleans was there. You had everybody and their mama going there. So it made it shot everything up in price. Well, we had a homegirl from Cape Town that we actually met in Tanzania in 2009. And she always told us, hey, you guys need to visit South Africa. You need to go. And I'm going to be honest, I had my reservations because of apartheid. I had my reservations because, you know, I was like, I don't know. I ain't going to leave the old racist West or whatever have you and go. But the prices were right. And we wanted, so I said, we go check it out. And when we got to Cape Town, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. This is nice. Beautiful. But I didn't have that feeling that I wanted to move. I was like, this is nice. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, it's pretty. You know, it's a great place to visit, right?
So question, when did you get that feeling to move then?
I'm about to tell you. All right. So, we flew into Johannesburg but when I flew into Johannesburg, I got in the car and I drove. I had never driven on the right side of the road or on the right side of the car, other side of the road. And I drove all the way to Kruger National Park for about 5-6 hours, right? Wow. You know, crash course. I was trained by the fire, crash course and driving on the other side of the road. We stayed at Kruger, did the safari thing, a couple of days. You know, the kids saw all the animals they needed to see. We got back and we were driving back. And as I was driving right on the edge of Pretoria, going into Johannesburg, I looked around and I said, oh, this lit. I could feel it. I could feel like it was lit. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas is what it felt like. And as we got into it and driving around and, you know, we had to weave through the city to get to the Rosebank area. And I'm just riding through the city. I was like, oh, this feels like Houston. This feels like, you know, something very familiar. And what sealed the deal was I was sitting out at Rosebank, like maybe the next night or whatever have you, maybe at News Cafe, smoking a hookah. And I was just looking around and all I saw was black. Now, in retrospect, I know that some of those people I saw were colored, right? But from the American perceptive lens, these are just black people. I saw all these black people moving around. I saw black people going into the bank. I saw black people, you know, working and sitting down and eating. I said, I was like, what is yes. Prayer time. I was like, I gotta be here. That's when I said I gotta be here. That's when I said I gotta move.
2009.
I gotta move.
2009.
No, that was 2009.
19. Okay.
Yeah, 2019. And I said I gotta be here.
That's what's up.
It took us a while because we came back and we said to ourselves, we're just going to buy a property and we're going to retire there, but we'll go there every summer and bring the kids, and the kids could be familiar with the continent or whatever have you. That was 2020. You couldn't travel because of COVID. And then George Floyd died, and that was they murdered George Floyd.
Yes.
And once they murdered that man, I said, yeah, I'm out. I don't want to be here no more.
Right. And then 2020, we had so much time to be on the internet.
Yeah.
With the lockdowns and stuff. So I feel like I discovered all the words.
Yeah.
It was like, just so much. It was just so much we can research. Yeah.
Man, listen, I lived vicariously through the Blantons from the real South Africa. I was hating and living. I was hating and living and living through them at the same time. I was like, man, they over there doing it, man.
I'm not gonna even say how much research I did through them.
Yeah,
I was consumed.
Yeah.
On a Saturday and Sunday, and when I got off of work, one video, the next video, the next video, the next video, and then I told my wife about it, and she watched a few videos, and I'm like, yo, this is where it's at.
Yeah.
So we actually owe them a lot of appreciation.
Yeah.
Hey, I think all of us who are we didn't use their services in 19 because we didn't even know about them, but it was our seeking desire, to find something South African. Now I started watching all kind of South African movies and following all kind of South African people on
their celebrities.
Yo, everything you're saying, it sounds like the same thing that we did.
Yeah.
Yes, everything you're saying.
They got love is a 4-letter word. Is I was watching rom-coms.
No, I started watching those Nigerian movies. Man, that is the most entertaining movie you have ever seen in your life. You just like,
what do you do, O? What are you gonna do, O? I love it, man.
Yeah.
I watch King of Boys.
Huh?
King of Boys on Netflix.
No, we ain't watched that yet. That's with the lady that was running things.
Yeah,
right?
we're watching that next. Yeah, that's
right
next.
Right now we watching
Top Boy.
But that's
big facts.
That's
big facts. That's
UK
English,
and Jamaica.
Yeah, I gotta watch
Jamaica?
Well,
that's
no,
UK and
English and Jamaican.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gotta catch up on
Jamaican. So I was like, oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah, we gotta catch a new series. I watched the first episode, but I didn't finish it because I think I started watching Young, Famous, and African.
How was that? How was that?
So I love reality shows. Like I'm so interested. I love loving hip
Miss
hop.
Adrienne up over there.
I love loving hip hop. Like I'm into it.
Yeah.
Love After Lockup. I love the reality show.
Love After Lockup.
I can't
seen it. I haven't watched it yet.
So no, I watched one episode to get a feel of it. So we did like a little live about it. The last day we were in South Africa, so maybe whatever. So I had a critique of it, and I also had a praise of it. And my praise of it is that for me, it's been very difficult to convince Black folk, even these Negroes with high level degrees and shit. And stuff, that South Africa is this fully developed place where people are getting money and having a good time and living very well. I'm trying to tell people this, but they don't believe me. So I think Young, Famous, and African can show them better than I can tell them that folk are out there doing well. Now, the critique is, it is basically a copy paste of whatever other reality show, that you've seen before, and the level of they're gonna have that level of ratchetness and stuff that takes place. there. So I'm just like, okay, I've seen this before. You know, I've seen this before. We know there's going to be antagonist against antagonist. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's fine because it's all for entertainment value.
Formula that works.
Exactly. It's a formula that works. What's the little white man that's behind all of them reality shows? What's his name?
Who, Andy?
Andy. Him. There's another.
Cohen?
Andy Cohen. Yeah, him. There's another.
Ryan Seacrest.
Well, I want
to
piggyback on also what you said. You said, well, the thing is this, it's going to take more than just that show to make Americans understand, you know, how great it is over there. It's going to take you guys. It's going to take us. It's going to take all the other podcasters that's over there podcasting and some of the one that's over here that's going to relocate so that our American brothers and sisters know what's going on over there.
I think that's why changing the narrative is a wonderful name. I don't know your motivation for starting it, for naming it that, for the nomenclature, but I do believe that it can be used to understand that I can say you changing the narrative on what South Africa is, you know, by talking about it and discussing.
Yeah, because mainstream media and movies and, you know, it gives the continent, not just South Africa, it gives the continent a bad name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when we post all these videos and pictures and I'm hoping that it let our American brothers and sisters understand it's not like what we grew up thinking.
Right.
Very true.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think so the purpose, the reason we came up with the name, well, partially because a couple other names didn't work. And one, we were going to go with the Black ASS Truth. And then we tried, we're like, you know, let's make sure nobody else has that name. And we got 2 words in and realized that people might not get past what they see on the search results from the first 2 words.
Because when you type in
they get it. So
they're gonna be looking for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they ain't looking for nothing African.
To revisit this, like, what else can we do? So we decided to go with changing the narrative because we want to change the narrative of how people see Africa, the continent itself, and kind of bridge the gap between what you think you know and what's actually true.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for. We're just here to show truth and give people that are thinking about visiting the continent or thinking about moving somewhere else to consider, you know, going home instead of moving to, you know, Brazil or moving to, a lot of people moving to Portugal and stuff like that. Like, check out, you know, Africa, the continent itself should be on the list. And, you know, for us specifically, you know, we're moving to South Africa, but it should be on everybody's travel list, bucket list.
Change the perception.
Yeah.
I haven't met an African American yet, and I think I have met a few who have visited SA. For some reason, I end up running into them, or they end up running into me on in these YouTube streets. I haven't met any that have, once they visit, have it at least said, I'm going to buy a place here so I can come back all the time. Or most of them say, I'm trying to figure out how I can move here. The text message that just went off is a brother saying, please send me the information on your immigration guy so we can get this paperwork done, you know? So it is, you know, I think that this is my prediction that this is just the trickle before the full-on flood. You know, we have a group or a generation of Black Americans who are awakening to the reality, first of all, that the United States is not the only place in existence that you can exist, right? That you can actually exist outside of these borders, and that places outside of these borders may offer you more opportunity, more sense of humanity, and more sense of agency and autonomy over your own body, your own mental space, and all that good stuff. Secondly, they're also recognizing that Africa is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to be it is the future. The white folk been on it. When you get on those planes to come over here, it's full of white people. Shout out to the white people, but it's full of white people. It's full of them, right? They know it. Why are they going? Why is the CEO of Twitter saying that he is, moving to Kenya or whatever have you for the next 2 years and all of that good stuff? Why are they focused on it and we are not? I think at one point, maybe 2 years ago, 7 out of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world were on the continent of Africa. Why do they know that and we don't know it? Why are we still feeling that? But there's a new generation that, that are looking and saying, man, there's opportunity there. I got to get there. And even in Diet Africa, in Morocco, we were in Morocco and we saw 3 young sisters, maybe 25, maybe younger than that, 22, 23. And they were in there, we were in some kind of castle or something. Yeah, they doing their little selfies, getting their Drake pose, what Drake said, getting the angles and all that type of stuff. But they are there on the continent, right? So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a heavy migration of Black folk out of the United States,
That's good.
I don't want to get too political and tell you who's responsible for that. But
I think everybody knows that. But what we do know? The United States has the best PR person or organization.
They have the whole world.
The whole world.
They have the whole world thinking that the United States, everybody is rich.
Yeah.
That it's basically a rap video here every day. You walk outside and you open your door and it's Ice Cube, It's a Good Day playing. And like we all have lowriders and everything is good over here. The Blacks are happy. Like the whites are happy. Everybody is happy over here in the United States.
No, the whites are definitely happy.
Yeah, this is they have.
They definitely.
But yeah, the marketing that they put out into the world just doesn't allow people to realize that the same issues that you're having, we have the same exact issues. We have human rights issues. We have poverty issues. We have lack of government support. We have all of that here that lives here right in our faces in every single major city. But that's not what the US shows to the world.
And that's the beauty of social media and YouTube and changing the narrative and the Asad channel, whatever. I don't have no real name for my channel.
Everybody that's nomadic, the nomadic.
Unapologetic nomads, yeah.
Drew, I'm sorry.
Drew, yeah.
Everybody that's doing their thing, they are changing the narrative.
Big facts.
They are bringing light to what's really going on.
Yeah.
And I just hope more of our people actually watch and go to the continent. It got to be South Africa.
Yeah.
Go to the continent and actually see what's really really going on and what they're missing.
Look how this. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say to Stacey's point. I hate when people say that, but I say it all the time. That we want Americans to kind of get this understanding and get this information. But I think that a lot of the people that are doing this kind of work on YouTube are finding that a lot of the people that are subscribing are actually people that are from South Africa or other African countries. And it just seems like we do get a lot of views, but the people that actually subscribe and tune in and want to hear more about what we're saying, it doesn't tend to be, American Black. So I wonder what we can do to try to get more Americans to subscribe and get the information and really tune into what we're all trying to do.
Man, that's an important question.
Content.
Go ahead and say again.
Content.
Oh, keep putting up that content.
Putting up content when you're looking at houses or you're walking through the mall or you're shopping. Yeah. You're buying a car. We got to put up content that they can see that's appealing.
Yeah.
Because what they see is Mexico was appealing.
Dominican Republic.
Vegas, DR, Miami. No. Go to the continent. The experience that you will get, it will blow your mind. Right.
And I agree 100%. I think that we have seen an explosion of these YouTube content creators since 2019 on focused on Africa. And I don't know if they made enough headway into the African American population, but I think there has been some headway because
I feel like those that are based like in West Africa.
Look at the numbers. Go Black is
getting.
Get
quite a few American, and I think it's also like the ancestral link too.
Yeah,
a lot of African Americans that are interested in West Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
Like this is where I'm from. This is where my people are from.
But either way, when we first started looking in 19, it was like the Blantons and Wode Maya and maybe one other person, African Tigress is her name.
Yeah, and then you had
that's her name.
Dinah. He had been on there for a while.
But I don't think we discovered the Dinah's until like 2020 sometime. So, but he had been on there. But now when you look, it is just like a whole lot of it. It's people that I can't keep up with anymore. Yes. I subscribe every time I see someone doing a video on South Africa, whether they are South African or they are African American, I subscribe. Some of them don't post as often, but it's a whole lot of them. Like, I would venture to say right now they have a good 30 vloggers or YouTubers who are focused just in South Africa.
Yeah,
right?
I was telling my wife that a couple of days ago. When someone subscribes to our page, I'll look at their page and see if they got videos. Yeah, and I'll subscribe to their page also. Yeah, because we got to support each other. Yeah, because at the end of the day, this is a movement.
Exactly. So let's talk more about old South Africa. So how many times have you guys gone? Was
twice in 1 year. We went in April, May, and then we went again in December. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, y'all like us, man. We went in February, June, December.
So I'm trying to get my wife. I'm trying to get my wife to go next month. I mean,
big facts, man. Let's go. Man, let's go.
Yo, let's just go. But our females are more logistic, and they think of the long term. But I'm like, yo, I don't care about any of that. Let's go today.
Yeah, my wife be like, we can't afford that, man. What you think? We got? I'm like, man, all that don't eating and paying them white man light bill. We don't need that.
Yo, what's up? Let's just swipe the credit card and go. But they talk us off the cliff.
She ain't gonna talk me. I said, man, I'm going in May. That's a wrap.
Well, yo, I might go in May too then.
Hey, man, let's roll. Look. I got Dr. James Bennett, he's going, and Josh and his wife, they're going in June 1st through the 9th. And if I don't go in May, I'm going June 1st through the 9th, sometime to overlap with them while they're there. But I mean, either way, God willing, we will be there permanently in June of this year. We are selling this house as we speak,
Us too.
Yeah, man. That's just so amazing, man. So let's talk about that, man. Like, go ahead. What are your family members saying when you're telling them you're moving? Oh, y'all getting that too? Y'all crazy. Why y'all going over there to Africa? Why?
Yeah, I sent my mom a message probably about 8 months ago, telling her what we're going to do. She said, why the hell you want to move there? So then I sent her a couple videos from the South Africa page, and she was like, damn, I didn't know it was like that over there. And I'm saying to myself, Mom, you're like almost 70 years old and you're a teacher. How do you don't know it's like that over there?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying? We got all this information in our hand, our phone. It is so easy to just pull it up and see that it's like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And, but most people don't, because that's not what they're searching or whatever have you. And, there's a generation of Black folk, I think, that around 60 and up who have been so thoroughly indoctrinated with the negativity and the propaganda against Africa. I mean, they grew up watching Tarzan in the jungle and the bloated Ethiopian babies and all that type of stuff. And that's embedded into them. And if we want to talk about theologically, if they grew up in the church and being told that they the children of Ham and all of that old stuff, I ain't got nothing against that. If you go to church, I don't want to knock nobody. If you go to church, handle your business. If it keep you from breaking in my house, go to church. Stay there. Go to Sunday school and everything. Yeah. But it is a certain level of indoctrination that took place that made people weary and reluctant to accept that African identity. Not to get too deep, but I was I wrote something today on Facebook about whiteness and how the American experiment sees itself as an extension and a continuation of European culture and history. And whiteness then erases the need to be autochthonous to Europe. As long as you're white, you're a part of this extension of European culture. So much so that it could reach all the way down into South Africa and snatch up Elon Musk and hold him up as an example of white success, not South African success. But for us, Black, the flip side of that is that if we say that whiteness and or the American experiment is an extension of European history, and we have seen, and the flip side, as Black Americans, Blackness makes us an extension of African history. If we don't see Africa as being successful, right? It had been colonized, enslaved, right? Impoverished, war-stricken, right? If you are any way separate from that as a Black American, we've been separated from it for 400 years. Why would you want to embrace that?
Right.
If that is the propaganda, why, that's not a history that you want to embrace. It's not a culture that you want to accept. So I don't blame my people for having that mindset, because that's all that we have been taught. That's all that we have seen. And again, it goes back to changing the narrative. Now we got to go back and change these pictures. We got to go back and replace the propaganda with real pictures. And more importantly, we have to let our people see that our people never hated us. When I'm talking about this, that narrative that Red talked about earlier, oh, Africans hated us. Where did that come? Who told us that?
Yeah, that's what I keep asking. Who started it? Who started this propaganda? Because
we know who started it. The white man started it. I mean, I love my white viewers. Like, comment, subscribe. But but
Asad, it is what it is, though.
Yeah, it is. They started it. It was. Okay. Let's talk about how racism actually starts. Racism does not start before the slave trade. Racism is a byproduct of slavery, right? It was an excuse used to enslave Black bodies, right? And along with that excuse came the excuse that says, your ancestor sold you anyway. Those people over there don't like you. They hate you anyway, right? You got to tell yourself stuff like that when you are enslaving people. You have to make this type of mental gymnastics take place in order to let yourself sleep at night if you're a human being, right? So they had to tell us those people hated us and you are better off over here in the United States being a slave than to be free over in Africa. And that's what they told us, and that's what they told themselves. And they believe it. So that's why it is an insult when they say go back. That's why we take it as an insult. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying we take it as an insult when they say go back to Africa. Why would I want to go back to Africa?
Yes. Yeah, because I think a lot of American Blacks had this vision that they wanted to be full Americans, that they wanted to realize the dream of being a full American. And saying go back to Africa is basically confirming that you're not a full American. But I personally believe that that's never going to happen. That Black people will never be full, whole citizens of this country with the same rights that everybody else has.
No.
And going back to your point about Africans selling Africans, I think this is one of the things when people bring that argument up to me, I feel like I have to add context to that, because was it happening? Yes. Was it a right and moral thing to do? No. But in the situation, the West African part of the West African region, the population was being decimated by the slave trade. Decimated. And people that lived along the coast were obviously more susceptible to being kidnapped. So what was their solution? Their solution was to find other tribes and sell their people instead. You know what I mean? So in that situation, what would you have done?
Right.
Differently in order to protect your family? Was it right? Was it moral? No. But the reason they were in that position is because of the slave trade.
And Negroes crazy anyway. Existed. We out here robbing and killing each other right now. And we acting like right in the United States, we robbing and killing each other, shooting each other. They just right here in New Orleans, they just carjacked a 73-year-old woman in broad daylight at 1:30. Her arm got caught in the door of the car. These young brothers, a brother and 3 sisters.
Wow.
Drove off in the car with the woman's arm caught in the car and ripped the woman's arm off. She died. So telling me about acting like we sold each other over there. We killing each other over here too. So it's not like, that's a part of human nature. Most importantly, though, is that when I say I want to reconnect back to the continent, right? Back to my African people, my ancestors. For every Negro that was sold, there was somebody on a boat that got on that boat. They left a mama who mourned for them. They left a wife or a daughter or aunt, somebody, a grandmama. Those are the people that we are reconnecting to. You see what I'm saying? We are supposed to just disregard those people for the ones who sold us. So our bloodline, we ignore, we disregard, we diminish because of the people that sold us, right? No, man, that's backwards. But that's
backwards. That's backwards. Yeah. Sally Struthers started all of this shit with, the little black kid with the big stomach and the flies flying around and a penny a day. That's what she said, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not that, man. It might have been that way back. But today, y'all need to wake up and see what's going on today. The movement is what the movement is. And we got to let the people know that, it's good. It's safe. We're wanted. We're needed. Let's just do this. Let's do this. It's all love.
I want to ask Sally Struthers why she never picked that baby up. That baby's walking on all kinds of glass.
Wipe that baby face off.
Why she ain't wipe that baby face? Yeah.
You couldn't give him a pair of pants, a t-shirt before you put him on TV?
Baby got snot.
We would never do that. We like, come here, baby. That's all you had to do.
Oh, Sally Struthers messed up everything for us amongst other people. But Sally Struthers, man.
Yeah. Man, that's outrageous, man. For 75 cents a day, you could feed the entire village. What?
Right. Get out of here.
I'm gonna tell you what my South
Chicago, Baltimore. You can feed kids for 75 cents a day here. Why you ain't have no kids from the United States?
Right.
This kids here sleeping on dirty mattresses.
Or go over there to Eastern Europe where your people starving. Bosnia, I don't even know how to pronounce them places over there no more.
Hell no.
All them places, see, where we get confused, we look at Western Europe and we see the wealth of Western Europe and forget that Eastern Europe has been ethnic strife and all kind of ethnic cleansing and war and poverty and everything. And they walking around with a lot of animals. What is it about these people and animals in the house? We have to do a study. Why do they keep so many dogs?
They gotta keep them safe.
Huh?
They gotta keep them safe.
The animals from what?
Yeah, that's their livelihood. Like if you got 2 goats and you need to sell them in the spring, or you need to eat them in the spring, or you're not gonna have no food, I have them sitting right on the bedroom floor like a puppy too.
Oh,
like a puppy?
I can't.
Maybe also to keep them warm in the winter.
I don't.
You gotta protect your assets, and they assets was like, come on in the house, come on.
Hey,
that's what I read because I wanted to know the answer to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it makes sense. I just don't know. But anyway, they keep a lot of them in the house. But we forget that Eastern Europe is impoverished. But you never see the commercials. Please support, whatever Eastern Europe country trying to get us, trying to get a meal or whatever have you. 75 cents a day can feed these children in the Czech Republic. You don't see that, Romania. Right? Or Romania, right? Go check out the people in Romania. They big struggling, right? But that's the propaganda machine. We assume that whiteness is immediately wealthy and safe, and they have all the resources that they need. And if we want to be factual, if Western Europe stopped raping Africa, they would be back in the Middle Ages too. They would be
exactly. Yeah. And also to your point, I hate what you said, but here I'm saying it again. Mm-hmm. But when you said, dang, I just lost my thought.
Until she figure out her thought. We shot a podcast. We shot a podcast a couple of days ago. And the topic was, why do you think American Blacks don't visit the continent more? Mm. And the answer was, because when we look on TV, all we see is Vegas, vacation in Vegas, vacation in Miami, vacation in Mexico, vacation in Brazil, vacation all these other places. So the question is this: why don't they do that for Africa? You know what I'm saying? It's because they don't want you to see the greatness. Right. Because if a bunch of us up and leave, like a bunch of us are doing already, but if more of us did that, who's gonna do the shit who's gonna do the stuff that we do? Because they're not gonna want to do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna want to do it. So we gotta put it out there so they can see and they can understand. It is what it is. You get your mind frame yet?
Yeah, I remember I was gonna say.
Gee whiz.
So like when you see pictures and like the History Channel doing documentaries and stuff about Africa, you see like people living in the villages and living a small life. But the impression is that like, oh, they're so poor. But at the end of the day, a lot of the people who live in villages and live that life, they're happy there. Mm-hmm. They're doing just fine, living off the land, foraging, fishing, hunting, living their best life. Yeah. But it makes it seem like it's something bad or something that you should feel sorry for. When that's not always the case, just because people choose to live at one with the earth and live off the land. That's how we were intended to live. That's how we were built. I mean, I'm not gonna do it, but I understand the beauty of it.
Right. When it's China, right? And China, believe it or not, as powerful as China is full of poverty, a whole bunch of poverty, a whole bunch of nasty poverty too. Like it's pollution and all kind of stuff. But when you see those people out in rural China, it's cultural. It's rural China. When it's Black folk in the same rural areas in Africa, it's poverty. You see what I'm saying? It's about it is about allowing the enemies of our people to define our language, and the language which is used to describe us is it's an ethnographer who is doing work in Palestine and the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and he was like, the media often describes the Palestinian people as resistance and say they have resilient, right? Oh, the Palestinian people, they're so resilient. And he's like, they're not involved in a resilient movement. They are involved in a resistance movement. And in order to be involved in a resistance movement, you are resisting against something. You see, so when you allow the others to define your language for you, they then is disempower. Yeah, disempowers you, right? So they define our language for us. They tell us that Africa is impoverished when it's just you're just showing me rural communities, right? Mm-hmm. If I take you to Appalachia, right, and you see those white folks out in Appalachia, right, or if I take you to California. Oh, well, you know, leave my New Orleans people out of this. My New Orleans white people, y'all all right with me. New Orleans white people, I mean, what can you say?
Not Louisiana.
Well, Richard Pryor said New Orleans, when he came to New Orleans, he said you had the blackest white people and the whitest black people you'd ever seen.
Wow. That's what he said?
Yeah. But now,
yeah, that's interesting because to go back to the point about tourism and shopping Africa, I feel like, so I first went to Africa back in 2008. It was attached to my graduate school experience, but everyone that I was in school with who had been to Africa, they were all white. And they all had been to different parts, and they traveled Africa, like they knew Africa. And the draw for them is the adventure of it. You know, it's adventure travel. It's the animals and the, you know, getting off the beaten path. And I survived living in a village for 2 years and that sort of thing that I don't think appeals to Black Americans for vacation.
No.
Like they vacation to Right. They vacation to get this experience that challenges them in that way.
Right.
We vacation for the resort and the relaxation.
To relax.
And South Africa could definitely offer that, you know?
Yeah.
All
best service I've ever had in my life.
Best service, yes.
The first couple of days we were there, I was just like handing out tips, like,
yeah.
Because I just was like, wow, that guy was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I'm like, oh, this is regular. Like, you get this kind of service at McDonald's too.
Yeah.
KFC,
yeah.
I did not know.
Brought our food to us, waited on us in KFC.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it.
The people are beautiful. Everything is just beautiful, man. You know, things, they pump your gas.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? They check. Do you want me to check and see how much your windshield fluid?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, really? In the States, I don't need to tell you guys.
No.
It creates jobs. It creates jobs for people.
Right.
And that's one of the things that maybe the States is not used to, because we're so deep in the automation phase of being industrialized. We're so deep in that we don't expect good service anymore. We expect to be able to just get whatever we want on our phones, and we expect to be able to go to a little kiosk in the store. We even have like all the self-checkout lines and stuff.
Right.
And even while it's making things efficient and cheaper, it's cutting out a whole entire labor force.
Right.
Whereas in South Africa, like, they're using those opportunities to create jobs for people, where we are so focused on the bottom dollar, the almighty dollar, that we're just excluding people from the economy by replacing them with machines.
Right.
Indeed.
I noticed we went to the grocery store, and they still actually, my first job was at Winn-Dixie as a young man, about 14 years old. My wife don't believe that I was like 13, 14 years old with a job. But 13, 14 years old, I was bagging groceries. You don't believe it, but we called my mom.
No,
we called my mom. What doesn't she believe?
Because we had to, remember the whole time I had to call my mom.
What doesn't she believe, that you was 14 or before, or you had a job at 14? Which one does she believe?
I had a job. Yeah, I had a job. But whatever it was, 13, 14 years old.
13 did sound young.
I was there bagging groceries, and they actually taught us, you put the boxes here, you put the I don't even remember, but it was a system to actually bag groceries, right? Nowadays, you just go and they just scan your stuff. They got eggs in there with your canned goods and all kind of stuff, right? We were checking out at Woolworths in SA, and the system, she folded the bag down and she placed the stuff, and she had the boxes with the boxes.
Properly separated.
Yeah, properly separate. Yeah, I was like, Oh, they still do that here.
Ain't none of that going here. They
No,
put
indeed, man.
Yo,
You bagging
they
your
put
own groceries.
they put everything with everything.
There you go.
They put everything with everything. They put the meat with the bread, the eggs with the, it doesn't matter.
Hot stuff with the cold stuff.
Vegetables in with the raw meat. They don't care.
You know what I'm saying? Full 9 goes with the meat. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But that's
I just won't let me do it. I'll do it.
It gets to the point that you just do it yourself.
That's why I go checkout, because I don't like them bagging my groceries all stupid.
But look, ain't Walmart slick though? Ain't they slick? Ain't these companies slick? Here, under the guise of convenience, they done turned you into a whole employee bagging your own groceries.
Yes.
I gotta pick up my groceries, pay for them, and come to work. Bag them. I gotta come to work for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No,
for free.
Man.
For free.
For free. That's slavery. They ain't tricked us into slavery.
For free.
We all have to visit Africa. There's a few instances, a few experiences I had in my previous visits in Tanzania. A couple things that I remember that really struck me, that I was like, we live in a different life in the West. One, I was visiting with a friend. She had a woman deliver fish that was just caught, right? I was in Tanzania. Fish that was caught that morning, the man came and delivered it to her house. She had someone come, and this is not expensive. These aren't expensive services, right? She would drop me off at I was doing work there for research. She would drop me off in the morning. On the way there was a man who used to come and bring her paper every morning. She'd give him a little money. They'd say hello, move about, right? On the way home, if she wanted to pick up some flowers, there were guys on the side of the road, give them a little money, pick up flowers, get a little stuff here and there. A woman that came to her house to do like her waxing and things like that, not expensive, but little jobs, right? That I was just like, y'all are really living here.
Yeah.
You know, the foods were fresh. We would go and get lunch downtown. It was cooked every day. You had people cooking and you were eating outside and stuff like that, but fresh cooked food, just the quality of the food, the quality of life, the interactions with people was so genuine and so different. And I'm like, this is a different life.
I'm gonna tell you what I noticed about South Africa interaction. Now, obviously, Johannesburg, it ain't rural, nothing. You ain't, catching fish and bringing it there. But the people, when we went to Jamili's or Gamili's, I don't know, I forgot how to pronounce it now. But the restaurant where we had our little meetup, right? Around 7:00, it started turning into not a club, but loud music and people coming in and down. I just saw that they are keen on communing and communicating, as opposed to, now they got their clubs, because our partner with us, he was out there going to club, but there's an alternative scene where it's like sitting down at this restaurant with my family and my friends, and we're just gonna sit here and talk. My boy's gonna come over. I might meet the girl at the next table or whatever have you, but it's more about communing and unwinding than it is about the kind of the party. So what I'm saying, there's a value of the individual. There's a value of communication and conversation that we really don't have in the United States. Some people have forgotten actually how to hold a conversation.
And they don't rush you, in the States. They rush you like, you finish eating, next man up. They don't rush you. Take your time.
So as soon as you finish, they slide that. Sir, thank you for ordering.
Like, no rush.
No rush, but here go your bill. You know
what I'm saying? Come back around and fill up either.
Take your time.
They going on about the next one.
Yeah.
You know what really threw me is like, if you don't have what you need by like 5 or 6 o'clock, like, you out of luck.
Yeah.
Everything's closed. Grocery stores be closed, restaurants closed.
Everybody out drinking, having a good time.
Yeah. Maybe Saturday and maybe on Friday and Saturday they have a little bit extended hours, but if you don't have what you need by about 5, 6 o'clock,
Clicks was closed.
You eating
I think that might have been a result of the pandemic thing, though, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because while we were there in December, they lifted the curfew for the first time, and I guess since 2020 when they first went. So they were under a curfew where everything shut down at 11 o'clock. So the workers had to be let off at 10 so they can have an opportunity to get back home.
Clicks are still closing at 6.
Yeah, Clicks was closed early, man.
So you're saying before the pandemic, it might have been open later?
I know it was open later when we were there just now, last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it was popping. Yeah, it was
So
popping. I don't know
Wool-
if Clicks
so
was
like
open later.
Woolworths open past 7 o'clock.
I don't know. I ain't go to Woolworths.
See, we were there.
I went to, remember, I can't remember what I needed. And Henry was like, Clicks is closed.
Yep, he did.
Closed.
Yep, he did
Might
say
be able
that.
to catch checkers.
Yeah, and it was like 8 o'clock.
Ah,
Yeah, it was closed.
okay. We would thought that was just like a common thing, like, yo, it's time for us to go to happy hour and enjoy life. Because over here it's like shit.
Everything's 24 hours. Like you can get whatever you want at any time of the day because it's somebody at work.
Still running that rat race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I was like, wow, they just let people go home. That's good.
That's good. And so they can enjoy their life.
Yeah, we cooked a lot when we were there because we like to cook a lot. So we spent a lot of time in the grocery stores, and we were in what was the store that we went to first?
Spars.
Yeah, we were at Spars. We finally realized that there was a Woolies in Rosebank too.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it was there, but we went to Woolies, and at first we were like, oh man, it's gonna be really hard for us to find the stuff that we need, the stuff that we, the seasonings and stuff that we want. And then we went to Woolies, and it was like, oh, they got everything in here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more pricey.
Big facts.
But for the seasonings and certain things that you want, like we can go in there and get like one little bag of a little extra expensive stuff to get the seasonings and everything that we want. But Spars is like so reasonably priced. And what about the chicken? Like we noticed that like the chicken and the meat just kind of smells like, it smells different than in the United States. Like in the United States, there's literally no smell when the chicken is fresh.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But when you buy chicken and meat and stuff there, it has like a wild smell to it. It doesn't smell bad, but it just smells like it's real. It smells like meat should smell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's definitely a difference in the quality of the food, like the vegetables.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's every vegetable, every tomato is not sitting there looking extremely perfect. Some of them are a little bit different colors. Some of them got a little bruise on them. Like they look like they just came from somewhere fresh.
Fresh, right. Exactly.
It looks like real food.
Mm-hmm.
How it's supposed to look.
I'm gonna tell you, this is a great transition from another conversation. I'm trying to figure out how do we get to the vegetables. This is a crazy transition.
Yeah. But it is what it is, man.
But it is what it is.
It's the stuff that you notice that are just different. Like the bread, we bought some bread the first week when we stayed in, and by like 3 or 4 days it started to mold. And we were like, man, why? But that's because it's not full of those preservatives. We buying bread over here that's full of preservatives. Your bread is sit on your shelf and last you 2 weeks or whatever have you. Bread ain't supposed to last 2 weeks. It has a fresh yeast in there. You know what I'm saying?
We bought some milk and I smelled the milk. I'm like, yo, what is this? Because it doesn't smell the same way over here.
Yeah.
But it's because, milk and meats and everything else over here, they put all of these preservatives and all this other stuff to make it last longer.
Right.
The chicken wings over here are like the size of your hand.
Exactly.
The chicken wings over there are the size they're supposed to be.
Right.
Right.
And then you wonder why we get all these cancers and why we have all this high blood pressure because they're putting all these sodium preservatives in your food or whatever have you.
Yes, sodium. Like I've noticed that there's like when I talked about this in one of our last podcasts, we'll miss when we move.
Oh yeah.
Because like the sauces there seem to be like a little bit sweeter than they are here. Like the mayonnaise, the mustard, the ketchup, it's all got like a little bit more of a sweeter taste. But I think it's really just because we're so used to having thousands of milligrams of sodium in a tablespoon of, you know, barbecue sauce or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's just like with the, you know, that's probably a better version of what we should be eating, because that's probably what it's supposed to taste like instead of being full of salt.
Definitely. All right, I think Reg, you said you had some questions from me.
Yes, I just looked at my phone just now, and I know Miss Adrienne got something she got to do. So ask Asad what you had to ask.
So I did some Googles, and I don't know if you've seen the one of the videos where I talk about reparations and how I feel like our DNA test should be included in our reparations package.
Mm.
And I saw that you had written an article on your blog about reparations.
Yeah.
Yes. And so can you tell me about the reason why you felt like you needed to put that information out to the world? Because I think it's so important. I think I won't take your shine. Go ahead. I just want to hear your thoughts on why you thought it was important.
You know why I wrote that article? Because I don't like Tulane University. Big facts. I don't like it. So I wanted to make sure that I wrote an article that mentioned that Tulane University was founded with slave owner money, and all that other stuff just came with it. I mean, that was the motivation. That's the exact motivation. But why is it important? If you read that article, it's really focused on Louisiana and New Orleans, right? So a lot of stuff is mentioned: Domino Sugar. Again, Tulane University. What else is mentioned in that article? Well, a few other things. I do talk about Harvard, Princeton, and the universities and stuff like that.
All the big ones, yeah.
Insurance companies or whatever have you. But I wanted to focus it on, because it was written and published in a local magazine called Big Easy Magazine or whatever have you. Initially. So it was to kind of point out that we are walking around a city that really owes its greatness to Black people. And I believe that whether we are staying here locally in the United States or you're moving abroad, that if we do not get reparations, nothing changes for us. Nothing changes for the masses of Black people. We can move to South Africa and we could have us a good life over there, you and I, and the handful of folks that go. But to change the condition to actually change the material condition of Black people, we must be repaid for the 400 years of free labor, as it was described in the piece there. Our slavery was 100% tax on our labor, meaning that we didn't get paid for anything that we did. Right? There is a number that you can place on it. Now, how you want to define it, when it starts, does it start in 16, 19, or 15 or whatever have you? Whatever day you want to start this ticker, there is a monetary value that can be placed on the labor that our people invested into this United States. And because we were never paid for that labor, we have now inherited generations of poverty and generations of debt, right? So white Americans end up starting, we always talk about they had this head start. They don't have like a generation head start. They have generational, right? Multi-generational head start that comes with the wealth that they gained from our labor. If you start any business, right, you know that the single highest expense that a business has, you said that when I called you, my phone showed up specialty. Single highest expense that we had when we owned that coffee shop was labor. Yep. So how does America become the richest nation, quote unquote, on planet Earth? Well, they had 400 years of free labor. They didn't have to pay us. So we built this wealth. Not only did we build this wealth, that wealth was taken, that cotton that we picked was not only exported to the North, that's a very basic story. It was exported all over Europe, as far as Germany, right? And then they took that free labor cotton and sold it back to the United States. So it enriched Germany, it enriched the UK, it enriched all of the places in Europe, France and Portugal. Then it enriches America. And we are the poor people on planet Earth. That ain't right. I want my check. Look, Dr. King, when he gave his I Have a Dream speech, the I Have a Dream part of it is the last part. The first part says he came to Washington, D.C. to collect on a check that's been returned insufficient funds.
Exactly.
We want our check.
Exactly.
Cut my check.
Do you think it's an argument to be made that Black people globally are owed reparations?
I can make an argument on anything. But as of right now, I'm about to make this argument about I'm gonna make an argument right now about here's my thing. I'm reluctant to use this terminology because I don't like getting grouped into the group that but the American descendants of slaves are owed reparations. Those brothers in Brazil are owed reparations. All throughout the Americas are owed reparations, right? So I don't know about globally, but those who are victims of the transatlantic slave trade who ended up in the Americas are owed reparations. And my reparations, here's the thing about it. Here's where I differ with the ADO. I differ with the ADOS movement in several respects. I don't like the xenophobia. I don't like the blaming of Black Africans, right? When we have 5 million African immigrants in the United States and, 45 million Hispanic immigrants, and I ain't seen the African yet come into my neighborhood building houses, cutting grass, and actually taking jobs from Black folk, right? It's my Hispanic brothers and sisters that are doing that. So I think the xenophobia is dangerous. But the second part of why I differ is that they say it is the United States that owes us. I say no. It's not only the United States. It is Europe that owes us, right? And it's every country in Europe, from Great Britain to France. I'm from Louisiana. We just became part of the United States. When you look at the greatest scheme of history, we were under the Spanish and French, right? We speak, our children go to French school. This is a French influenced place. So it wasn't in 1803 that the United States became, that Louisiana purchase happened or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? So France owes us. Spain owes us. Portugal owes us.
Governments, multinational
corporations owe us. Harvard owes us, right? AIG owes us. TransUnion owes us.
I think Bank of America was in there.
What's the sugar company? All the banks. How about anything that's traded on the stock exchange owes us because we were the first stock, right? We were the first commodity. That's what I was looking for, commodity. So
there we go.
So yeah, definitely big facts. I believe that all of these entities owe us, and I want my check. Now, ask me, do I believe we ever gonna get it? That's a whole different question.
That's a whole different conversation for a whole different podcast.
I don't believe we ever gonna get it.
Forgotten it though. So many.
That's the sad part.
People who were placed in the Japanese internment camps. So many groups of Native Americans.
Right.
The Jewish population. They have all gotten reparations to some degree. And even the Jewish people, they were getting reparations from Germany and from the Swiss bank.
But right. They left money in a bank account when their family members were taken by the is it called the SS or whomever they were, and may have possibly been put into these ovens, and they had these bank accounts, right? So the descendants were like, well, wait, whoa, what happened to that money? Yeah, what happened to that money? And they got their money.
They got it.
But here's my thing: if you look at the time frame on how long it took them, it didn't take them long to give the Japanese Americans reparations, or to at least put it in writing. It didn't take long to give Native Americans reparations, put it in writing. So it tells you how they really feel about us. They know that check is going to be big if they ever had to write it. But I think that this goes to a deeper level of what I always describe as infrahumanization. They don't see us as human. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We are part of this out group who are less human than they are. And when they're operating from that vantage point, there's no need to make things right with us. I mean, they codified that into law with the Henry Clay's 3/5 compromise, said we own 3/5 of the people. So when you're operating from that vantage point, you don't feel that you have to make things right with this group, right? So, because if they were interested in that in 1865, when you outlaw slavery and you write these laws, 1866, you should have been writing checks. You see what I'm saying? We shouldn't be having to beg for it. We shouldn't have a reparations movement. But then again, it also shows our impotence. It also shows the fact that we have no power, you know, that we are a powerless people, particularly in this land. All we can do is demand, cry, and beg. Okay, we demand, cry, and beg, and when they say no, what's our recourse?
Never
what
mind.
We gonna do?
Can't do nothing.
We can do something, but you know, it's
useless.
It's
not progressive. It's not productive.
Man, we can do something.
It's not productive.
That's all I'm gonna say. There's something else that can be done.
Our people been lost the revolutionary spirit.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying there's something that can be done.
Our people been lost the revolutionary spirit. What's that guy name who killed Trayvon Martin?
Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Zimmerman still walking around.
Yeah.
Still walking around signing Skittles packages and teas. Here we are. That shows you how powerless we are.
Yeah.
Right? Negroes walk around and kill each other, right? But George Zimmerman is walking around free alien off of life, right?
Yeah.
No, we lost the revolutionary spirit. We don't know nothing about no revolution. We don't know nothing about no Fred Hampton. We don't know nothing about no Black Panthers. We don't have that spirit of Asad Shakur. We don't have that spirit in us no more. Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture.
But I mean, look at what happened to them.
Right.
Look what happened. Like the forces at power made it very clear that we are going to snuff out any of these militant thoughts out of we're gonna stamp it out. We're gonna stamp out any leaders that crop out, any groups. Like the Black Panther movement started the whole school lunch program. Whole school lunch program, and the only reason why the United States like implemented into their system is to take away power from them and reliance on them in Black communities. That's the only reason why they started offering those programs publicly. But you know, that's for another day. J. Edgar
Hoover described the Black Panthers free lunch program as an infiltration. And Huey P. Newton said, how can Black people from the community, of the community, dealing with other people in the community, infiltrate their own community, right? But what he understood, what J. Edgar Hoover understood was that the Black Panther Party, if they begin to capture the minds of the youth, Minister Farrakhan said something about 10 or 15 years ago. He said, we're dealing with a generation that are fearless, but they don't have any direction. Man, these cats are fearless. Man, they'll shoot up a whole block and all that type of stuff. I don't condone it, but that's fearless. That's a warrior, right? But now we got a whole bunch of warriors without direction. We got warriors without generals. We got warriors without marching orders. So now we are being attacked, and instead of them being our soldiers and defending us. You know, what's been done to Black people in the United States, man, it's a sad and a very serious and dire situation that we are in. We have been psychologically destroyed. We have been emotionally destroyed. We have been spiritually destroyed in so many ways that I think, I'm sorry, babe, I know you got to go, that I think that the only way that if you're not a religious person, a believer, I'm a believer. I think the only way to pull us out of this is God. God has to come down himself, right? He's going to have to come down himself to rectify this, right? But I'm going to tell you another thing, and this, I'll leave this alone. Our disobedience is part of it. If you are a biblical person or you are a person who reads the Quran, you know that that when the children of Israel were in bondage in Egypt, God gave Moses a specific commandment. He said to go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. He didn't say go integrate. He didn't say go beg them people to go to their schools. He didn't say go move into their neighborhoods and marry their daughters. Uh-oh, I'm sorry. Did I go too far?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, I know, Adrienne. I know Miss Adrienne gotta go, but I got one last question for you, and we can close this out. I have one last question. What do you guys feel about Uncle Cyril?
Who?
Cyril.
Who is that? Oh, Cyril Ramaphosa?
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to say about the people politics. Let me say this. Whatever South African duly elected government does, that's what South African duly elected government does. I support whoever the South African people elect. It's not my place. I'm not gonna go out there and criticize the people's government. Yeah, I'm trying to move there. If I don't like their government, I'll stay my black behind here. If I don't like what they're doing, I'm gonna stay here. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, if I get there and don't like what they're doing, I'll come back in or find another place to go. It's not my position. Nor is it anybody else's position to come here and criticize black folk. See, I can talk about us all day, but don't come here talking about black people because I'm gonna give it to you every time. Now you can talk about the country, but don't talk about us. But it's not my position to go to South Africa and start criticizing their leadership, criticizing Cyril Ramaphosa, or criticizing Julius Malema, who I actually like Julius Malema, but I like his revolutionary spirit.
I heard his last post a few days ago. I like him too.
Yeah, I think that there's some critiques of him also. I think there's critiques of Cyril, but it is not my place.
It's not our place.
You know what I'm saying? It's not our place. We need to go there and do what we can do to contribute to the economy, contribute to the people, and establish ourselves as productive members of society, right? If there's something that we see that is disturbing or wrong, well, then let's try to find a solution to fix it. You don't go to nobody's house. Imagine me coming to Red and Stacy house talking about y'all done invited me to your house, and I'm talking about, oh man, it's hot in here. They look at their dishes dirty. All of that type of stuff. You don't do that to nobody's house. If you don't like it, get out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not criticizing nothing about. I love everything about South Africa. You dig? And that's how I'm operating. Well, with that being said, man, it's been an hour and 30 minutes.
Listen. We're gonna see you guys. We're gonna see you guys on the continent. We're gonna chop it up on the continent.
No, man, y'all coming down to New Orleans first, man.
Oh yeah.
Y'all coming down.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. We got 2 things that we got to do in April. Other than that, we are free. We'll take that little 5-hour drive, and we can do it.
Fact,
we might fly.
What you just said? We might come to Houston because you know my line brother out there too. So
okay.
African restaurants in Houston.
Oh yeah.
Nigerian joint, this Ghana.
Oh man, y'all don't go to Zongo?
Never heard of it.
No, we have a West African restaurant like right up the street from us,
like 2 minutes away.
Never been there, but we're gonna go and shoot some footage there this weekend.
What's the name of it?
I don't know.
It's called Princess. What's it called? Royal Princess something. But y'all are subscribed, right?
Yeah, I got to be subscribed.
Yo, that was a shameless plug.
So changing the narrative will be, reporting on this event. We'll
probably on Saturday. We're gonna do it live.
We'll put a link in our bio to the restaurant. We'll eat there. We'll talk to the owner, all that kind of stuff. So
if they let us,
look,
sure they will.
I gotta tell you now. You gotta go to.
Love talking about their culture and where they're from.
You got something to say?
You gotta go to Zongo. 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 Zongo is a Ghanaian restaurant in Houston. It's over near Katy, really. Yeah, it's by Katy.
We live in Katy.
Oh,
it's close.
Bam! It's right there. It's off the. I think that's the was that the 110 or some shit. Some stuff I don't know. But it's in Katy.
Yeah, we may as well just let that whole clean version just forget about it. Y'all done said, I mean, like 5-6 times.
Go to Zongo. Go to Zongo. Matter of fact,
and Cafe Abuja.
Cafe Abuja and Zongo, they running a race for the best jollof.
How do you spell the other cafe? What?
We can talk about that afterward.
How you spell it?
U-A. How you spell Abuja? A-B-J-U-A?
U-J-A?
Yeah, that's how it Abuja. Yeah.
A-B-U-J-A.
Yeah.
All right.
A-B.
The Django is 25 minutes away.
That's not bad. That's close.
Yeah.
Houston, that's close.
Hey,
yeah.
Miss Adrienne, go ahead. What you got to handle. Brother Asad, it was great changing the narrative. Brother Asad, we love you guys. We done.
Peace. I love y'all.
Love you guys.
Oh, let me stop. Boom.